What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sean C here. Welcome to the Simsational Gent. There's another live stream number 9, I believe. And I just want to say off top, thank you to everybody who's been coming here and participating in this. And, look, we talk about serious topics in the last week or so. Um, we've been talking about, more creator based stuff. But today I'm going to probably do something a little different. And the reason is because I had someone a friend of mine who called me last night out of the blue. And I hadn't heard from this gentleman in a while. And I considered him a brother. All right. Considered him a brother. And by all intents and purposes, I loved him like an older brother. And honestly, this was before I met my real brothers, we have the same dad, my half brothers, but they're my brothers. So before I met my blood brothers, I had other brothers in arms, right? That I served with, and they, you have to lean on people when you're in the military because it gets tough, right? Let me before I go ahead, let me go ahead and send out a little flare there. I'm gonna get to the shout outs in a moment. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Now I know that the topic of the thumbnail says that we're going to talk about click-through rate, which we're absolutely going to talk about it. And I want to show you some stuff that that I see, and I want to have a robust discussion about this if possible, because I think that we all see our own analytics and we've watched videos and everything talking about our analytics, but I think that people may or may not be inclined to share their analytics. And look, I don't really care what you see. I'm just going to show you today what I see, and I believe that it is the recipe for knowing that my channel is on the right track, even though I can honestly say I feel like it's a little off. And we'll discuss all that here in a little bit. Okay, so let me get over to shout outs real quick so we can get into this topic. First of all, I want to say shout out to Neil and his channel. Neil, I have a story to tell. How you doing, brother? Thank you for being here. Thank you for jumping on this. Neil has been doing really good things with moneymakers, talking about the gig economy, and of lately just putting out some positive info, and I really appreciate that. And you have Flowers, Eggs, and Geese. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to get there. And then we have Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast. They have an amazing channel where, they talk about things, cooking and baking. And also you have Buzz with Your Cuz, which is an amazing segment talking about different wines and spirits. And I rather enjoy that myself as I sip from my adult sippy cup. So I appreciate you all for being in the live stream. And if you come to the live stream if you ever come to the live stream here at the Simsational Gent, I can promise you one thing: I'll always shout out the people that are here, because this channel wouldn't be where it's at because of you. And I thank you all for that. And I love you all. Okay. So let's get to a couple of these comments. Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast says, cool idea. Analytics are great to dive into. Absolutely. And I really want to get into that because there's some things that I'm seeing. And listen, I listen to other big content creators that talk about these things and stuff like that. And so when I look at it, I look at my analytics. I think they're a little bit, again, it's going to be some interesting stuff. I want your guys' perspective and take on this, because you can put out a video and you guys will see on your channels where, if you have a pretty decent base, you know that you have certain videos and you're going to get a certain amount of views just because you have the people that support you, right? You have your viewers that are your return audience. And then you can have videos that do really well, and then you have a certain amount of new audience that comes in, and then you can see that as well. And we're going to talk about that too, because, what do you want more of? New people, or do you want new returning people? And honestly, you want both. Oh my God. Let me give hold on, another shout out. Wait, first of all, Neil says, thanks for the shout out. No, thank you, brother, for being here. I can't do without you. Can't do without you. And I appreciate your guidance and support. We have my brother from Anthony from Third Eye Visions. And I appreciate you coming through, brother, for the support. I really do. Thank you so much. So Anthony has uh, a place, a voice for the visually impaired, for just really anybody. You can be sighted or non-sighted, and this brother will talk about topics and really you brought in people that have talked about great resources for people that have lost their vision or maybe haven't gone through other things. And I think that that's beautiful because people need a place to go that people understand them. And I hope that this live stream and that the Sensational Gent is that or becomes that for you all and for others as well. So thank you all for that. Okay. Let me know in the so obviously you guys hear me because I don't do I can't listen to myself through the headphones, right? Like that's annoying to hear myself, the feedback or me talking back to myself. So let me know if everything's going well right now. You all hear me, everything fine. Let me know. Somebody let me know in the chat. So let me know if everything's looking okay. Everything going fine. I just want to make sure we straight before we proceed forward. Also, yeah, before we proceed forward. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for everyone that is here, everyone that does show the support and the love. Thank you again. Can't do it without you all. Um, Today's topic, before I get into the click-through rate, okay, all right, cool. Everything sounds okay. Okay, that's good. Means the mic is working. All right. So before we get into the topic of the click-through rate and stuff like that, and I'm sorry if you came here for that, I will talk about it, but there's another topic I want to talk about. I think this one needs to supersede the click-through rate discussion. We'll get there, and I hope you all stick around with me because, again, there's some really interesting analytics that I want to go over, and I also want to know about what you think about that. But getting into what I was talking about earlier was I was talking about a buddy of mine that I served with in the military who gave me a call last night. And it was great hearing from him. And we had talked to him again, and we hadn't heard from him in a while. And when I say we, I mean, there's another brother of mine that I served with that I talked to more than my mom and my own kids. All right. And that's including the one that lives here with me. So that ought to tell you how much I put respect on the people that are close to me in my life that I talk to, all right, and how much that we bounce off of each other. But anyway, my friend calls me last night and he was talking about, he kind of went through some trouble, y'all. He wound up getting into an altercation, if you will. Okay, somebody got on his nerve, and he may have put himself in a position where he may had them fisticuffs on. Okay, clank, clank. This brother went to jail for the night. So, listen, we've all had those moments where we may have come across people that, maybe we didn't agree with. Maybe we wanted to lay hands on or something like that. Let me give another shout out real quick. Dave and Kathy, hi. Thank you all for showing up to this live stream. I really appreciate you guys. And listen, make sure you guys, if you're watching this as a pre-recorded video, make sure you go over it, and everybody that did shout outs, go ahead and check the channel out and see what everybody's talking about. I will promise you that you will come across channels that are amazing and people that are amazing. And I thank Dave and Kathy for being here. Thank you for being here today. Okay. So my friend got into a little trouble, all right, if you will. And here's the thing. And listen, I'm bringing this up for anybody who just showed up. I'm bringing this up real quick because this needs to be talked about. We will get to the click-through rate and talk about that. But I really want to make sure that I highlight this. I think it needs to be said. So we wind up talking. I was out. So when I got home, we wound up doing a three-way with, my other brother. He's like our big brother. And then, whatever, right? So these are my friends that are really important to me. Sorry about the squeaky chair, yo. I apologize about that. I was looking into the wrong camera. That's crazy. All right, here we go. Hey, how y'all doing? All right, so we were talking to him, and what we realized and what him and I isolated is, at our age, should we be really fighting people, right? And it was kind of disappointing, because what we came to realize is that the reason why he was fighting wasn't necessarily because he yeah, somebody might have been talking mess and whatever, and he felt he had to defend his honor. I don't really know. I just feel like once you get older, fighting should be limited to protecting yourself in your life, right? And even then, you should be wise enough to talk your way out of it. Now, we're talking about a guy that is older than me by at least 5 years, okay? And I would say I am into my adulthood as far as age. And with that being said, sometimes we gotta be the voice of reason for our friends. I think that what he wasn't saying was, yeah, he was angry about what happened, but he also was taking out frustrations that was in his life onto whatever that person was. So he didn't think rationally. My mom told me one thing, and she never lied about this, but you can't punch stupid. You can't punch stupid, right? Because your hand will get tired, right? Your knuckles are going to bleed, right? If you try to punch stupid all the time, it just be an endless supply of fighting. Okay, so we don't want that. I bring this up to you guys because me and the big fam were talking about this subject, and what we realized was this guy is hurting. And why do I bring this up to you all? I bring this up to you all because that when you're hurting, sometimes we do things that are out of character. Sometimes that we do things that we wouldn't normally do. Sometimes we find ourselves putting ourselves in positions that we shouldn't be because we are hurting. Sometimes we isolate ourselves from the people that love us most because we aren't willing to open ourselves up for examination, for our friends to, or our family and our friends and the people that love us to help us through these hard times. And I think that you have to have someone in your corner that is going to talk to you in such a way that is going to keep you from being off the ledge. Because that's what the talk to me sounded like. It sounded like he was going to a place that was dark. And here's the thing. He did the right thing. We hadn't heard from him a while. It'd be easy to say, well, you ain't our friend. You're not my friend. You don't call. You don't talk to me. You don't show up. You don't support my live stream. You don't do none of this stuff. It'd be real easy to tell people that kind of stuff. It would be. But he reached out. You see what I'm saying? If you're a real friend, if you are a true friend, and your friends reach out, you're going to be there for them. If your friends reach out, you're going to take the time to talk to them. You're going to take the time to delve into what's going on, whether they talk to you or not, because you are a true friend. And I'm not talking about having people take advantage of your friendship. All I'm saying is that if you are a real friend, be a real friend, especially when somebody reaches out to you. That means they needed you. That means they wanted you in that moment to be able to talk to them. And even though it was really hard to back my friend down from where he was at, I know he needed to hear it. And then we called the other family and got on three-way, and he needed to hear that too. Let me take a pause real quick. And you have Brick Girls Go Stateside. Specifically, you have the Lucy here. I said the Lucy. You have the Lucy portion of Brick Girls Go Stateside. Lucy, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. All right. And again, check out her channel and Brick Girls Go Stateside. They're doing great stuff over there. And I really appreciate them for being here. Yes, yes, yes. We were greeting everyone here in the chat. So listen, let me conclude this so we can get into the topic at hand, right? Because I don't want this to be clickbaity, and I We're going to talk about click-through rate. We're going to talk about that stuff. We're going to talk about looking at the analytics. We're going to get there. But if you have friends that reach out to you, take the time and be there for them. Okay, even if they're not calling you on a regular basis, even if they're not checking up on you every day, make sure you be a friend to the people that you supposedly call friends, right? And if you don't know if you're real friends, if you have real friends, let me tell you what real friends are. If you don't know what the definition of having a real friend is, that's a person that sticks around over a long period of time that requires nothing of you but for you to be yourself. They don't ask you for anything but your friendship. Now, do you ask your friends for things? Absolutely, right? Not necessarily me. I don't ask people for nothing, but I'm asking you all for a view and a like. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're not there already. Look, I'm going to ask for that, okay? I'm going to ask for that. Yes, the Lucy. So I don't have a problem with asking for certain things, but your real friends, they don't require anything of you. They're just there for you. That's real friends. Now, of course, friends are the ones that you can call at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, my tire is busted and I'm out on route, blah. There's routes around here. I don't know if there's routes around Vegas. I really haven't really paid attention. But anyway, that's not even the point. The point I'm trying to tell you is your friends are there for you and you should be there for them. Okay, let's get into these topics. Sorry, real quick. In the chat, does anybody have any perspective or anything that they would like to add to that conversation? Because I don't want this to be just me ranting and talking and stuff like that. I want this to be interactive where you guys say what you feel about that subject, and so we can have a discussion. This channel is about discussion, having a good time. Go ahead and pull up your little sippy sip or regular drink, whatever it is, and let's enjoy ourselves. But this is a place for robust discussion. So what do y'all think? You all have anybody that, calls you, or maybe it's somebody is troubled and, they take the time to reach out to you? What do you do in those instances? Do you be a friend? Are you a friend? Or are you a fair weather friend? I don't think anybody in this chat is that person, but this is more people that's watching later as a part of the pre-recorded live stream. You have to evaluate where people are in your life. You have to evaluate your friendships, and you have to do that at a recurring basis, okay? And that doesn't mean you throw people away. You just got to know where to put people. Anybody have any thoughts about that? Let me know down in the comments down below, and we will discuss it. If not, we're going to go into the first part of this, all right, which is, what is click-through rate? So, click-through rate is the rate by which, when someone sees your video through an impression, that means seeing your video, your title, anything pop up in front of them, the likelihood of them clicking on your video to find you. That's what the click-through rate is. So if you go into your impressions, hold on real quick. Let me, sorry, I was clicking on something. So your impressions click-through rate is really, if I want to get nerdy with it, it's the probability of someone clicking on your video. So it's actually the number of impressions. Again, your video is shown in front of a certain amount of people, and then essentially are the people that click on your video, right, divided by the amount of people it's shown to times 100. Wow, okay. I need y'all to know real quick, I did engineering, so I might get a little nerdy with certain things that I say. Just you have a Tuscan, Flowers Egg, you said we have a Tuscan red wine that we're enjoying, excited about the click-through rate. Absolutely. I'm about to show you guys some stuff. I hope it's good. I also want you guys to be interactive in the chat. We're going to pause at different points because I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys see in your own stuff, because if we share this information, we all grow, right? And I think that we have a really good group here, and I'm very appreciative of all of you guys. So why is click-through rate important? Well, that should, based on the definition, it should be self-explanatory, but I'm gonna put it out there. It's important because it says that when I put my video out in front of people, are people clicking on it? All right. And listen, you don't have to have a super high click-through rate for your videos to be successful, but I will explain all that here in a little bit. All right. We're going to talk about all of that in a little bit. So we're talking about why is click-through rate important. So what you want is YouTube is going to send out your video to a lot of people, or it may start out with a small amount of people. All right. It's going to test a small amount of people with your video and what it looks like to them. So when people see your thumbnail and your title, they're going to make it, you make the same, right? Like all of you out there, you watch YouTube videos. You might see 3 channels that are saying the same thing, right? I'm looking up, how do I Canva tutorials? So I might look at Canva tutorials and I see 3 channels. What is going to get me to click on there, right? The thumbnail and the title that most answers the question that I'm looking for through Canva tutorials. There's times that I'm going to want to click on the one that has the longer video because I'm like, okay, I want to really deep dive into these Canva tutorials. But what if you don't have a lot of time? So now I might click on the one that has the least amount of time. Can you get me that information in the quickest amount of time? Now let's analyze that for a second, everybody. Okay, think about this for a moment. 2 channels, they may be equally good. I'm going to pick, I can't think. You have a channel like vidIQ has a channel, and you have Think Media. 2 great channels on talking about how do you grow your YouTube channel and how you improve your channel and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you all, stick around because I have a little something that I noticed yesterday that's great. I got some good info for y'all. Y'all gonna love this one because I can't wait till they do another live stream. I watched a good bit of it yesterday. Okay. But think about it. They're both great channels. I watch both of them, but depending on how much time I have depends on which one I might click on. You know what makes sense? Because now I know they're both known quality. They're both known quality, but I need information. So I might need it quickly, or I might watch the longer video because I want to get into a deep dive to know what the heck I'm talking about. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind as you make your own videos. Like, there's a number of videos. Oh, I can't wait to get into the analytics. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And I'm going to show you all some videos that doesn't have a lot of clicks. But when I show you the data, it's going to, bear with me. We're going to talk about this. Let's get to these questions in the chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Brick Girls Go Stateside. The Lucy says, excited for this topic. Does anyone know what counts as a good click-through rate? Hey, I was actually about to answer that question. So let me tell you. Oh, look like Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast said it, but I was about to talk about that here soon. So our click-through rate is slowly but surely improving over time. Our lifetime click-through rate is 5. And they started since last year. Our 90-day click-through rate is 6.9. The last 28 days, 8.6. That is outstanding. Now, I'm glad you guys will talk about that in the chat. That's great, because that goes right into the next thing I was about to tell you guys. So something I should have said in the first part of it is that YouTube says that the average click-through rate is somewhere between 2% and 10%. So that's the average, okay? I will tell you that obviously if, let's say for a given number of impressions, I want to make the math easy. So let's say YouTube puts out your video in front of 100 people and your click-through rate is 2%. That means out of 100 people, 2 people watch your video. That's your click-through rate right there. All right. If you have a click-through rate of 5, then obviously now you have 5 people that watch out of 100 people. And there you go. That's your click-through rate in a nutshell. So now it's how do you get your video out in front of more people, right? Because even if you have a low click-through rate, if your impressions are like in the tens of thousands, then now a 2 to 3 or 3% click-through rate isn't that bad. Okay. See what's going on in the comments. I'm sorry, I got to switch between all this stuff. Lucy says, thanks for sharing Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast. Congrats on the progress. That is awesome. And I will say that is awesome as well. My channel click-through rate is at 4.2%. And it's actually up. It used to be in the threes. And that's why I wanted to bring this topic up, because it's increased. But why has it increased? We'll talk about all that stuff today, and we'll get into that. Let's see what Florida Eggs you say. That's good to know, Sean. Thank you. 2 to 10% average makes me feel much better. Some of my videos click-through rate is very, very low. It made me sad. No. Okay, for everybody that's listening, I'm about to tell you some amazing stuff. I have so much to put out, and I'm trying to. Normally, I outline my lesson, but I haven't done that, and so I'm trying to come off the head. So there's so much stuff that I really have to share with you guys about this, because I think that it's going to change the way you look at click-through rate, or how do you utilize it better? How do we harness it better? Because there are other things that matter other than click-through rate. Your click-through rate should not make you sad. All right, let me tell you something that's happened to me with the channel. So my overall channel average is 4.2, and it's up from like 3.4. It was like really low. So you might say, well, Sean, it only went up, not even a full percentage. But that little change in percentage means that's more views that I get, right? There's more people looking at my channel. And that's overall over the course of my whole channel. Now, in your little analytics section, where it tells you on your dashboard where it shows the video. Let me share my screen with you all. Oh, wait. That's stupid. I'm sorry, yo. I'm messing this up badly. So let me share my screen with you all. Okay. So you have this right here. So, this portion over here to the left side, right, where it tells you this last video I put out with how to come up with ideas to grow your channel. It's about average for where I'm at now. It has a 6.5% click-through rate. When I first started this video, it was almost a 10, and it's gone down to 6.5. So why am I telling you that? Because wrong video camera, there we go. Because if your click-through rate starts off high, and then what happens is YouTube says, is people watching this video? If the answer is yes, then they send it out in front of other people, okay? Then the next thing they do is they say, okay, we're going to send it out in front of other people. As it gets sent and YouTube is trying to find your audience, as it's trying to get to more and more people, people may not like it as much, right, as it tries to figure it out. So what happens to your click-through rate? It goes down, right? So that means it's not a bad thing that your click-through rate goes down. If it starts off high, that's a good thing, right? You want to try to get it as high as possible in the beginning, because that means that's a good thing. That means that your video is, optimized correctly. The title and the thumbnail is doing well. And as soon as you send that video out to other people and you start getting more and more impressions, your click-through rate is going to get to go down, because not everybody's going to want to know. Everybody's not going to want to know what the Simsational Gent is about. Most people are not going to care. And I understand that from my channel standpoint, right? Flowers Eggs Yeast, I'm going to use you all for an example, right? I might come across your channel and I'm like, oh, y'all talk about baking. Well, I like pizza. I'm not going to click on your channel. Or maybe I might just get curious because you have a good thumbnail and title. But I'm saying, if I'm looking for pizza and you're about, baking and cooking and stuff like that, maybe y'all do pizzas at some point. But you know what your bread and butter is. You know what your channel is about. You all have and know what your channel is about. And you're not going to be for everyone. So as it goes out to more people, your impression click-through rate is going to go down. But that's not a bad thing. If you just look at that last screen, it says yes. If you hover over, it says yes. Your click-through rate is going down, but people are still choosing to watch this video like normal, okay? But my average view duration is up. So back in the analytics, and we're going to talk about this in a second. Let me get back to the chat just to make sure I'm not, I want to make sure I'm part of this conversation. Okay. Yep. Okay, we talked about that one. Here goes the six. Same. Some of our earlier videos have a low click-through rate. We're currently around 6% for the last 28 days. Right. And that's awesome. Right. And my what is my 28-day click-through rate? Is that lifetime? Oh, it is last 28 days. So my click-through rate for the last 28 days went down. And I already know why it went down. Like, that's not a bad click-through rate, but it went down from where it was at. Because for a while I was hovering at like 6% myself. And at one point it was higher than that. So yeah, it is 28 days, but there's also other things that I have out there, right? I've been doing more live streams and stuff like that. So that does affect it. All right, let's go to the next one. David Kathy, I will have to find our channel click-through rate. Our latest video is 18.2. It doesn't have many views though. That's okay, Dave and Kathy. Okay, let me tell you why that's okay. So it has a high click-through rate and it may not have a lot of views. I'm going through the same thing. Okay, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So just hold that thought. We're going to get there. Yeah, 18 is crazy. It looks, and my analytics for the little box for the current one, if my click-through rate is going down a little bit, but for a while, if a video's click-through rate for me went under 10%, my little analytics thing said your click-through rate sucks compared to your other videos. And you're like, it's at 10%. How is that a bad thing? So it's just comparing it to your other videos, which means that whatever I was doing last month, I was getting crazy click-through rates. Okay, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Where do I find the channel click-through rate? Absolutely, that's awesome. So what you're going to do is I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and I'm going to show you where you find it. Okay, so you go to your reach tab and then you're going to get your click-through rate right here on your reach tab, and that'll tell you where it's at for the last 28 days. Okay, so that's where you find that. Where am I at? Okay, it's under the reach. Okay, you already wrote all that. I'm all late to the thing. We have a pizza video coming out this Monday. Oh my God. I'm going to do something that I normally find myself not doing for y'all guys' channel when I watch your videos. I'm going to make sure I eat before I watch that video because I am tired of watching y'all channel and not having ate and then leave there and then I'm hungry. Or, you know, you need to tell Cam that I can't have no buzz with your cuz with buzzless cuz. You know what I mean? Like, man, look. As I sip through my adult sippy cup. Lucy, you got your drink over there, girl? What you drinking on? Out of them mugs, them new mugs. Pizza, I am excited for that. I am excited too. Pizza and Italian food is like my favorite thing. I love it. Okay. Back to the topic at hand. Where are we at? I don't even have one. Do I have a banner for this? No, we're still on why click-through rate is important. So let me put that up so we know where we're at. So I know where we're at. Why is it important? So we've talked about that, right? We talked about where to find it. What does it do? But it's not in and of itself. It doesn't matter because again, if YouTube shows you, gives you more impressions and it starts to go down, that's good. That means whatever you did in your video is YouTube is pushing it out. That's what you want. That's what you want. Now I'm about to show you guys something. Again, my numbers are down. Let me explain this. This is something I've noticed about my channel. Anybody who's been around Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast, Brick Girls Go Stateside, you all remember what I used to do. I did a lot more sketch comedy. Actually, I did dating relationship advice at first. And then when I realized how messed up dating is, I'm like, you know what? I have nothing useful to say. That's, you know, I could have probably stuck with that niche, but what I would say, it sucks because I'm not willing to be as controversial as some of these channels. I just don't care enough. And I'm not saying I'm not going to say something that's going to piss somebody off, but that's not the hill I want to die on. So then I went to comedy, and I love doing comedy, just here and there, right, like or whatever. And that was actually doing really well. However, somebody said something to me, and I also looked at some audience analytics that said where the age of my audience is, and we all like a good laugh here and there. But my audience is at a good little grown folk stage, you know, and so I wanted to make this channel more than that. And then also there was also the fact that I'm traveling. I'm going to be traveling at some point. So I wanted the channel to go more about positivity and more about things that are more helpful to people, and then go into traveling full time where you guys see what I'm doing. So you're like, well, Sean, how did you get to the point where you can travel full time? And how did you plan, and how did you go watch my old videos? Right? I showed you the life that I live. I tried to give you snippets about how I think. Those videos all lead into what I'm doing. So I understand that my views are low. I'm not really worried about it as compared to before, where I was getting lots of views on my comedy and stuff like that. So it all depends on what you want to do. Well, how does that tie into click-through rate? Well, here's the thing. Some of my older videos, they got more views. They just have more views. But when you look at them, optimized wise, they didn't have high click-through rates. The other thing they didn't have is sometimes they didn't have the longest watch time. So what's keeping those videos growing is if you go back and look at my videos, I did a lot of SEO. So when people go to search for those videos are popping up. And if I showed you my analytics right now, there are videos that keep popping up that in my 28 days of which videos got the most views, I have older videos right now that are ranking. You know what the people are looking for right now? I live in Las Vegas. You know what they're looking for? Las Vegas pool parties. That thing is getting more views than some of my videos I have out right now. Okay. There's another video where last Halloween, I went out and I did interviews on the street. Right? That video is doing well right now. Right? It's an older video. So what I did, I went back and I retitled. I went back in the title and I changed the title. What's coming up? What holiday is coming up, y'all? Halloween, correct? Right? So guess what I added? I'm out there doing street interviews for Halloween, and I added Halloween into the title and the description section of that video. So if you look at last week's live stream, if you haven't, we talked about some really good stuff in there. But on last week's live stream, I told you, when is the stuff about to ramp up for Halloween? The ramp is coming soon. Okay, between now and next month, that ramp is coming. So I put Halloween in the title so that way I can rank and search. When it come up, that it pops up. It's already a popular video. YouTube keeps showing it to people. So I'm setting myself up to do really well this Halloween, or at least for at least one video. I still have more work to do. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Let's get back to the chat because I want to know what you all are thinking. I just realized, like, why can't I see this? I ain't got my glasses on. Let's see did I say that? All right. At David Cathy, what's nice is that YouTube shows how you improve the click-through rate over time, and now you found it. Yeah. There you go. And we're going to talk about that. That's in the next section. We're going to talk about how to improve your click-through rate. Or what did I do? Because my click-through rate's up. And I'm like, how can I make it better? We're going to talk about that. Neil says, yes, I had to change a little on my channel also. Yeah, yes. Well, I know you and I are changing things. We just got to grow with the times. So we got to go with what works. Flowers XG says, Las Vegas pool parties are cool. Great idea on being ahead of the curve. We made a Thanksgiving playlist of recipes of our videos on 2020. Getting ready. Oh my God. See, there's a saying, iron sharpens iron. And that's what the thing is. You know that there's holidays coming up. You know there's the whole holiday season's about to come up. So now, listen, go look at your old videos. If one did well, you could leave it the way it is, or you can change it and put 2021 in the title. You can do whatever so you get people to watch it. But the chances are, if it's already ranking, it's still going to rank. Okay, YouTube is still going to show it to people. All right, it's just trying to see if you can get more views this time. The next thing is you have Halloween, you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, and you have New Year's. Okay, so you have all these holidays to play with, and you can do things on your channel that's going to get people to watch. I'm actually thinking about, because I showed y'all last week's live stream where we talked about using Google Trends, and I know where it's about to hit at. Man, I'm about ready to, like, yo, I'm about to just do this whole Halloween get into the spirit thing, okay? So that way I can bring more viewers to my channel. Now, hopefully I bring them to the channel for the right things and for the right reasons. See, Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast has it right because they can go through and say, yo, people want to cook during this period of time. This is a eating and a cooking time of the year, okay? So you want to make sure that your audience is primed to have those recipes ready to go. And they come to one channel, Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast. Anyway, that was my commercial there. Neil says that's a great idea about Halloween. Yeah, man, get some. And here's the thing. You have to relate it to your channel, right? My channel is a lifestyle channel. So even though it's still talking about dating relationship stuff, it's still within your lifestyle, still within the realm of possibility. I'm not saying I'm never going to talk about that stuff. What I'm going to say to you is the channel is where it's at right now, and I'm trying to work with it now, okay? See what we got here. Big Girls Go Says, I said, the Lucy says, I am hoping our Halloween video from last year gets a few more views this year. You never know. Lucy, check it out. Go into your video analytics and go look at two things. Go look at view duration. Go look at, actually, yeah, a number of things. So you want to look at view duration. You want to look through your click-through rate and see, look at the impressions and the click-through rate. You got to look at both of them. And the reason why I'm saying is you may have a low click-through rate, but look how many people it sent it to. All right, so go look at those. And then I want you to go look at the average view duration. All right, so that's the next part I'm going to get into. Give me a second on that one, y'all. Please stick around. We're talking about some good stuff here because I'm about to get into the dirty, the stanky real quick. Okay, I'm about to show y'all some stuff in my analytics that's like the views. So where we're at. So we had something in, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. So there's so much, right? There's so much I see. That's why I'm glad we're sharing this. So you can go back. This is what I want to tell you, Lucy. You can go back and optimize that video so that it ranks in search this year, right? And go look at Google Trends. Top in Halloween, you'll see exactly where the curve is going to hit. So if you get that video optimized now, baby, guess what's going to happen? That's going to happen. That thing could blow up. Because my older video is like, again, last year, I did the video with Junior and I gave Halloween costume ideas, right? That was in my first year, right? Actually, I hadn't even been doing YouTube for like 2 months. And that video wasn't doing well. I mean, it wasn't doing bad, but it wasn't doing well. And then Halloween hit. And I got like 200 or 300 views in that same night or the night before or whatever the heck it was. It was something ridiculous. Okay? So it's primed to do well again. Maybe I might just change it from 2020 to 2021, change the thumbnail. Oh, yeah, we're going to get into that topic. Let's see what we else got. I'm sorry. I'm sticking on to it. Ah, they have their new mugs. Okay. Yeah. Especially with the sketches. Yeah, I miss doing the sketches, and I'm going to keep doing them. Okay? I know if they... I got so much to tell you guys. Hold that thought, Neil. We're talking about showing that is great advice. I'm going to do it. Let's make it happen. Absolutely. Now, let me tell you something else that I've been doing on my channel. Oh, this goes into the next topic because Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast was jumping ahead of me. Terry, you was jumping ahead of me. We're going to talk about how to increase your click-through rate. All right. Oh, wait, before I go too far ahead. Oh, let's change the camera view. I just want to make it more dramatic. Hi, everyone. Before we jump ahead, there's something I want to say to you guys about that, okay? Man, I lost my train of thought. Well, let's go back to how to increase your click-through rate. All right. So I've been going back through and I've been looking at my older videos. And if you go ahead, you can go on my channel right now. It takes hours and hours and hours to go through all your channel analytics, change all the stuff, right? Because I'm looking at the data and I'm saying, okay, how can I optimize this better? Especially if I think it's not a bad video, right? You may have a video with a high click-through rate, but it don't have a lot of views. So now you have to go in your analytics and figure out where are the views coming from? Or is it people I know, right? Is it ranking in search, right? Because that's what I do. My videos may not have a lot of views now, but what happens is I see it all the time. My older videos are starting to, they produce at a rate sometimes higher than the ones I have. And it's because I go through and I optimize the titles and the thumbnails a long time ago. All right. Now, obviously, I can admit it. My videos weren't good quality back in the day. They weren't. I can honestly say that. Right. I thought they were good. They're not. Some of them are crap. I'm sorry. They're just steaming pile of doo-doo. Okay. And I get that. But but since I've been going through, I've been making changes to that. You can change what the title is. You can change what it is. See, I was also trying to put together titles that ranked in search, but sometimes your title still has to have the keywords, tricky phrases, but it also has to be something that's going, when somebody just that little snippet of what that title is, you have to make it want to click on it. So some people have the philosophy of, I need shorter titles. But if everybody says the same thing, right? Like, I'm gonna use Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast as another example. All right. We made cupcakes today. Okay, you have a whole bunch of channels that made cupcakes today. How is that going to stick out? Okay, maybe your thumbnail might stick out. You got to think about all the many hundreds and thousands of videos that are out that say we made cupcakes today. So that's not good enough. What about these cupcakes? Or you can say we made cupcakes today, but you need some other stuff in your titles and stuff so that that it ranks in search when somebody types it in. See what I'm saying? The keywords, so that that video can rank ahead of everybody else. And that's what's optimizing your channel is, going through and make sure that your video can rank in search. If you have any questions about ranking in search and how you can make your titles more searchable and people to be able to find them later, that you stand above everyone else, go look at last week's live stream and or the last video I made before this one. Okay, all that information is in there, and I think thank you, Lucy, you was there with me for a long haul on that one. I really appreciate it. Let's get back to the chat. They haven't used them yet. Okay, that was just some talking in the chat. All right, we're good. So I'll make sure it was good. All right, how to increase your click-through rate. So when and Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast, y'all might be able to appreciate this. My click-through rate started going up when I started changing my thumbnails. All right. When I started, if you look at my thumbnail journey, go look at my old videos. Just go look at the little list. I'm not watch them too, but but I was doing things, and we talked about this on the last video, so I don't want to rehash or reinvent the wheel. But what I will say is, look at my old thumbnails. Some of them got views. Some of them had pretty good click-through rates, and some did not. And so what I've been going through is I am making all my thumbnails uniform. I'm not touching every video, but I'm going through on the ones that, okay, the video was a good video, and I can tell by certain things, but maybe the click-through rate was low. So maybe if I make the thumbnail better, now that I know that I can make better thumbnails, that my click-through rate is higher than it's ever been before on most of my videos. And that's in large parts of the thumbnails and the way I create my thumbnails now. So take the time and put into thumbnails. Now, we can do a whole episode on talking about the best way to do thumbnails. But if you guys already have over 1,000 subscribers, you can just say, you can put it in the community tab and say, hey, which thumbnail you think is better, this one or this one, right? Do a poll. And there's so much you can do with that community tab, and people can tell you, yeah, we like this one better. And guess what? Now you starting off with an astronomical click-through rate, which means they're going to give you more impressions, which means you're going to get more viewers, which is you're going to be more happy. You can drink happy juice to get there too. So I hope that helps. Oh, ooh, did that just happen? That just happened. I'm burped. I'm sorry, you guys. That was not what my intention was. Okay. And then when we do food, we usually find success if we say simple recipe, easy recipe, so it appeals to non-foodies like us. Oh, that's great. Yes. And so people think about it. Think about what you search for. That makes sense, does it? Because you're like 10 best ways, fastest time to lose weight, or, you know, best smoothie recipes I made on my other channel, the Sensational Fitness and Wellness. If you have not checked out that channel, Sensational Fitness and Wellness, make sure you go check out my fitness channel. I'm sorry I don't put out the videos as regularly as maybe I do on this channel, but it's because I actually try to put out higher quality videos on there. Thank you, Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast, for what you said in the comments on that last video. I really appreciate you guys. Totally. Easy and simple or good title. Yes, they're good for titles. Lucy says, my dear friend Dara from Magenta Otter Travels is helping me make the most of the community tab. Shout out to Dara. I'm gonna give a shout out to Dara. Yeah, you guys got that community tab thing. You know what I mean? Go ahead and use that community tab, and the community tab is more for the people you already have. It's in a way to engage your audience, the people that watch you, because it's your return viewers that are very important. Because your return viewers, if they watch a high percentage of your video, you guys do it for me. I appreciate that, right? But if you guys do come across my video on your browse or whatever, notifications, and you go ahead and you watch that full video for me, then you do me a service, because YouTube sees it and says, this video is getting watched a lot. It's a high watch. It has maybe a high click-through rate. So guess what it does? It says we're going to send it out into the world and see how it does. And so that means every video gets a chance, right? And that's where we want. We want for all of you guys to get a chance in there. So we talked about increasing your click-through rate, a high click-through rate, how to increase it. Now, I promised you in the thumbnail, I said your click-through rate plus this is going to show you growth, okay? Your YouTube, your click-through rate almost in and of itself doesn't mean much, okay? What I'm going to show you is, let's go to the analytics. I'm on the wrong page. Let's go to overview. Again, my videos don't get as much views as they used to. And I know, because I've changed the topics, I've changed it all. And that's okay. I'm okay with it, baby. But I see something very promising. I want to share this with you all. Please hang in there with me. I hope you guys can see it. Oh, hold on, get this banner out the way. Sorry, you guys. So, this Alexa video, right here, okay? This Alexa video. Who cares about the views? What do I see? What I see is people watching at 64%, like 64% of the videos getting watched. This Hawaii guide for hikes is getting 50, almost 60% view time, right? This one where it's positive thinking has gotten 66% view time. Now, my live streams, your live streams are going to be lower, right? But let me show you something else, people. I'm going to go down. Let's go to I didn't do a lot of promoting for this video, but I didn't do any promotion. I just put it out. I depended on you guys. Let me show you something. 80-something% of this video is viewed. Let me show you something. If your video, you see that line, you guys? You see that line? All these ups and dips and all that stuff. This video is the perfect video. It don't have the views, but let me show you why it's perfect. First of all, the view percentage is 77 people they view 77% of this video. But look at that line. If your line, let's go to continuous segment. Look at that. The whole video is a continuous segment, but it's fast information. It's hitting you real quick. If your video flattens for a longer period of time, that means that it's doing well, okay? And on this video, let's see, it's only got 29 views. A lot of people ain't watching it. I didn't do any promotion for it. Let's see what the reach says on it. It has a 7.4% click-through rate. That means that's a good thing. That means that if it gets sent out, it's going to be fine, okay? And then on this one here, it's 6.6%. That's excellent, okay? That's excellent. Let's go back to the overall view, okay? That video is a flat line. If your video it dips off after the first 30 seconds and it just goes all the way down, like, you know, let me get back into this screen real quick. Let me get into this screen so I can show you my arm movements. Okay, so sorry about that, y'all. If your curve starts to dip like this severely, it means people are clicking off your channel. It means that people are not watching your videos. as that curve starts to come up, that's a good thing. That's where you want your videos. And let me tell you, this is not an isolated incident. That's the way my analytics look. So I don't have the views. It just means that YouTube hasn't found my audience. It means that a year from now, when you're having the same conversation right before Halloween, and we said, hey, you remember that video that only had 22 views? Man, YouTube pushed that thing out. Now it's getting views every day. Or my audience for my channel might be smaller than yours, right? My niche might not get me a lot of views. I have to know what my ceiling and my floor is, okay? Your ceiling, your floor is different. So do not get discouraged if your numbers don't look like my numbers, don't look like your numbers or their numbers. Oh, get some of that. Okay, let me switch camera views so y'all can see my pretty face. Let's see what y'all saying in the chat. Flawless says, I haven't seen you use it yet, Lucy. I'll definitely check it out. Dara is great for magenta otters. Absolutely she is. Neil says, I look at videos in the long term. I think subjects people will look at for all times. So, Neil, you and I talk about this all the time, my friend, right? I optimize my videos for the long term, right? My videos are optimized for what's happening now with these older videos, where you go back to my older videos and like there's views that weren't there when I checked 4, 5, 6 months ago. Because for me, I'm okay growing at a slower rate. That's just me. I know some of you guys, Neil, Lucy, Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast, you guys are all monetized, okay? So you all need views and people to watch ads in order to do what you do, okay? I understand that. You all have different goals. I know that I am a very special person. I'm touched, okay? So it's going to be a little harder to find my audience, and that's okay. They're going to grow with me. They're going to be with me. They're going to rock with me, right? I want a strong 1,000 that love me. They don't have to love me, but they just like my content. And I'm okay with that. And you have to be okay with it too. But this is about how do we use this data and this analytics? How do you look at your analytics and use it to your advantage? That is one way to do it, okay? That is the way you do it. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's see where we're at. So one last thing that I want to talk about with click-through rate, how to increase it, all right? And you guys, please stick around. I'm going to give you something that may be awesome for your channels. Even if your channel is doing well, quote unquote, there's something awesome that I'm going to show you guys, or at least tell you guys, like a way. It's just awesome. You'll see. Okay? Stick around for that. Somebody might be blessed by this. I really believe so. So the one thing that I'm doing is I'm going back through, and my older titles, they're searchable, but what they aren't is they were so groomed for SEO, they don't necessarily capture your attention, not all of them. So I got to go back through, make sure that the titles still are optimized for the SEO while being something that's going to make you click on it. Okay. So I did that with one of my videos. I don't know if I can get there quick enough. I don't know if I can get there quick enough. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But there's an older video I had with Mr. Johnson. I know you guys all love Mr. Johnson. Okay. And the video did well as far as views. At least I was happy with it. But when I looked at it, it's like I left some people out there on the table. I left people out there on the table. I could have just did something in the title that makes you go like, I wonder what that's about, and click in there. And that's what I've been doing. I've been going through, I've been changing my titles, I've been changing my thumbnails, and it's a lot of work. But when I have spare time, I do that. And so I would suggest that don't change it for the changing its sake. Go look at your analytics and see if people are clicking off. If people are clicking off, maybe what you put in your title and your description didn't match what people's expectation was. So maybe you need to change the title such that it mirrors what you're talking about in your video. Some of my videos are that way too. I had something in the title and it didn't meet people's expectation. They click out. So it does that. Okay. So there's some things you have to go back and analyze. Okay, we already talked about that. Okay. You guys hang in there. We're almost at the end of this. And we talked about reading your analytics for growth. So in the title, I told you straight up, I said, hey, you have your click-through rate, but click-through rate of its own isn't everything. My videos don't have all the views, but what they do have is these high percentage of views, right? Your video has to be somewhere, I'd say about 50 to 55% view, right? Like if you want YouTube to really be like considering for the long term, you got to get people to watch at least 50 to 60% of your video. So even the videos that aren't doing well all have these high percentages. And even though these videos that I make now don't get as many views as my older videos, they have longer watch times. They have a longer percentage of watch times, which means that if I optimize the thumbnail and I optimize the title, it means that YouTube is going to continue to push that video out because it gets views. And that's really all YouTube cares about. That's really all they care about. Money and views. How do I keep people on the platform longer? How do I keep them from not clicking away? There you go. There you go, people. And that's pretty much it. So do you have any questions down there in the chat? Am I missing anything? Is there any questions anybody have? Anything that anybody want to offer? You guys offered some really great advice today, and I really appreciate you guys for being here and staying here that long. Now, I told you I was going to show you something or give you something. Yep, I totally, let's see what's there. We're going to call it a night, but we've really enjoyed this, Sean. Excellent job. We'll be sure to watch the rest tomorrow. Well, I'm going to finish this up soon because it's been over an hour. The last thing that I'm going to tell you guys before you click out, I know it's getting late over there, and I appreciate you guys staying. Last thing I'm going to say is there's a channel called vidIQ. And vidIQ, you can do that and TubeBuddy and stuff like that, but they have their own channel. I don't know what the exact day is, but they do channel audits on a weekly basis. So what you can do is you click down in their description. There's a little quick form that you fill out that you're going to put your channel name, you're going to put your YouTube address, you're going to put what your channel's about, and then they got this little automated thing that knows, okay, we have 200 videos in the queue, and they do gaming and they do non-gaming channels. So you can fill out the proper form for your gaming channel or your non-gaming channel. And then what they do is they use this little randomizer, which is using a little program, and they pull a number. They check the number and see where your number falls in on their queue, and they will review your channel live so that you can get a more professional, a chance of them seeing your video. So check them out weekly. Go ahead and now you have to keep putting in your form weekly, okay, so they clear the queue. So I would do it right before the live stream so that your number gets in there. Does that make sense? And then what they'll do, we gotta populate it weekly. So I'm gonna go back through and put my number in there, and hopefully my number gets pulled. And I know what they're gonna say already. Like my channel is like 3 different themes going on, and they're gonna probably say stick with one or the other. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they say, hey, my best video was my comedy videos. Stick with that. And I'm like, that's a lot of work, you know. And where do I want this channel to go? I don't want to go there. But the point is, that's an opportunity for somebody, these guys that are professionals, to look at your guys' channel. I just wanted to put that out there. I hope that blesses somebody. I hope you guys take advantage of that. All right. Anybody have any questions or anything they want to add? Let me know down in the comments. I want to take the time to thank all my guests today and everybody that stuck through the live stream. If you're watching this as a pre-recorded video, if you come into the live stream, I will give you a shout out, and I will also answer any questions that you have in the chat, or even listen to what you're saying so we can have a discussion. I want a robust discussion about some of these topics. So I want to thank all of you guys for your time. And since there are no more questions, the last thing I'm going to say is make sure you guys have a great weekend coming up. And until next Wednesday, next live stream is going to be next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Be there or be square, and live your best life.